Building a life on the teachings of Jesus. Have you ever been judged wrongfully? Do you sometimes find yourself nitpicking and fault-finding? The Bible teaches that we all have this tendency because, as written in Jeremiah chapter 17 verse 9, the heart is deceitful above all things and desperately wicked. Who can know it? Even though we like to think we are good people, a little introspection reveals to us what is in our heart. The heart is mentioned in the Bible over 800 times. That signifies how important it is to know what is in our heart. In today's devotional, we will look at what Jesus taught about the heart in Luke chapter 6, verses 37 to 49. Jesus says, "Judge not, and ye shall not be judged. Condemn not, and ye shall not be condemned. Forgive, and ye shall be forgiven. Give, and it shall be given unto you. Good measure, pressed down and shaken together and running over, shall men give into your bosom. For with the same measure that ye mete withal, it shall be measured to you again." And he spake a parable unto them. Can the blind lead the blind? Shall they not both fall into the ditch? The disciple is not above his master, but every one that is perfect shall be as his master. And why beholdest thou the mote that is in thy brother's eye, but perceivest not the beam that is in thine own eye? Either how canst thou say to thy brother, Brother, let me pull out the mote that is in thine eye, when thou thyself beholdest not the beam that is in thine own eye? Thou hypocrite, cast out first the beam out of thine own eye, and then shalt thou see clearly to pull out the mote that is in thy brother's eye. For a good tree bringeth not forth corrupt fruit, neither doth a corrupt tree bring forth good fruit. For every tree is known by his own fruit. For of thorns men do not gather figs, nor of a bramble bush gather they grapes. A good man out of the good treasure of his heart bringeth forth that which is good, and an evil man out of the evil treasure of his heart bringeth forth that which is evil, for of the abundance of the heart his mouth speaketh. And why call ye me Lord, Lord, and do not the things which I say? Whosoever cometh to me and heareth my sayings and doeth them, I will show you to whom he is like. He is like a man which built an house and digged deep and laid the foundation on a rock. And when the flood arose, the stream beat vehemently upon that house, and could not shake it, for it was founded upon a rock. But he that heareth and doeth not is like a man that without a foundation built an house upon the earth, against which the stream did beat vehemently, and immediately it fell, and the ruin of that house was great. In the above passage, Jesus teaches his followers to refrain from judging and condemning others. There is good judgment and bad judgment. We all make snap judgments daily for convenience sake. Judging the value of things helps us make wise choices when it comes to purchasing or other life decisions. The judgment Jesus is referring to is not that. In John chapter 7 verse 24, Jesus says, "Judge not according to the appearance, but judge righteous judgment." What Jesus is saying is that we are to make righteous judgment, that is, based on value instead of appearance. If we judge based on appearance, we will also be wrongfully judged because, like they say, what goes around comes around. Jesus' brother James also says similar things in James chapter 4 verses 11 to 12. "Speak not evil one of another, brethren. He that speaketh evil of his brother and judgeth his brother, speaketh evil of the law and judgeth the law. But if thou judge the law, thou art not a doer of the law, but a judge. There is one lawgiver who is able to save and to destroy. Who art thou that judgest another?" We often judge by the words we speak, and we need to be careful about what we say to others and what we say about others. When the Pharisees brought an adulterous woman before Jesus, ready to stone her in John chapter 8, Jesus told them, "He that is without sin among you, let him first cast a stone at her." None of them were without sin, and hence they all left one by one. Have you noticed it's usually either hypocrites or people with even more grievous sins who point out others' sins? Knowing that we're prone to faults provides a foundation for humility, and humility enables us to be compassionate towards others. If we are aware of our own wretchedness, we're more likely to help others get back up instead of passing out judgment. Paul says to the Galatians in chapter 6 verses 1 to 2, "Brethren, if a man be overtaken in a fault, ye which are spiritual, restore such an one in the spirit of meekness, considering thyself, lest thou also be tempted. Bear ye one another's burdens, and so fulfill the law of Christ." Just like Jesus taught, instead of judging and condemning, we need to forgive and give. In the passage from Luke chapter 6, Jesus says, "Give, and it shall be given unto you." The reason why Jesus talked about giving in the middle of a sermon focused on not judging others is that he is teaching us the alternative to unrighteously judging others. Whenever we find ourselves judging others wrongfully, that's when we should redirect ourselves and give the same people what they need. We have to be careful, though, when offering help to others, so we don't come across as self-righteous and condescending. That's exactly what Jesus elaborated on by raising an important question. Why beholdest thou the mote that is in thy brother's eye, but perceivest not the beam that is in thine own eye? Just like the Pharisees were not able to stone the adulterous woman because they had skeletons in their closet, we can't judge others or offer to help others while we have worse sin in our lives. So, what shall we do then? We're not sinless, but we might still want to help others that are not doing well. In the example Jesus gave, he's talking about a beam in our own eye and a mote in other people's eyes. A beam in our eyes prevents us from properly seeing. Therefore, the first thing we need to do is self-reflection, so we are aware of ourselves and what we need to work on. As Jesus said, if a blind tries to lead a blind, they both fall into a ditch. In order to help others, we need to be in a position that allows us to offer help. We need to spend more time with God so God could mold us and work in us the ability to help others. Again, Jesus says, Thou hypocrite, cast out first the beam out of thine own eye, and then shalt thou see clearly to pull out the mote that is in thy brother's eye. We need to be free from hypocrisy and from whatever that is blinding our perception. The best way to know whether we can give help to others is if we have fruits in our lives, and that is exactly what Jesus talked about next. Fruits are easy to see. Whether they're good or evil, fruits are revealed by how people speak, act, and conduct themselves. No matter how much one tries to hide the true nature of the fruit they have, their true fruits are evident. It's what's in the heart that comes out through the mouth. If what they say and what they do rarely matches, it's a clear indication that they're trying to hide their true fruits. These are the kind of people Jesus referred to as hypocrites. People who do what they say and also do what Jesus says have sweet fruits. Jesus gives another parable to illustrate that concept. Jesus asks towards the end of the passage, And why call ye me Lord, Lord, and do not the things which I say? If we really have Jesus as the only Lord of our lives, we do what he says as obedient children. As Jesus pointed out in his parable, his obedient children are like people who build their house on a rock and can weather the storm of life. Hypocrites cannot withstand even a little setback because they built their house on sand. In conclusion, what kind of person are you? Have you built your house on sand or on the rock that is Jesus? In 1 Corinthians chapter 10 verse 4 we read, And did all drink the same spiritual drink, for they drank of that spiritual rock that followed them, and that rock was Christ. If you have built your house on the rock, then, as James says in James chapter 1 verse 22, But be ye doers of the word and not hearers only, deceiving your own selves. Those who do the words of Jesus don't wrongfully judge others. Instead, we give and forgive. God bless you.